Good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio with my weekly midweek live stream as I'm here to record this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. And I will tell you who is coming up on the show as this stream continues. And then also, I will be live during the first segment of this week's show. So if you want, you can actually stick around and watch me record what you will hear on this weekend's show. Sometimes I use that segment also to edit out excerpts from the show and post them on my social media outlets. Coming into the studio this morning, there were spots that were a little bit slick. If you're on the roads right now, you probably know that, although I suspect they're getting better by now. I was a little surprised to see the snow out there this morning. Didn't know that was coming. Mad Jack, good morning. How are you? Mad Jack said he just heard me on WSGW with Charlie Rood. An unofficial member of the morning team now. Once a month doesn't make me a member, but I'm gonna use that for all that I can. And Art is out in Frankenmuth this morning. Cliff, good morning. Always a pleasure to have you along with us. Uncle Johnny, how you doing, brother? Happy belated birthday. I kept saying it was his birthday on Thursday. It wasn't. It was Friday. Martin, good morning. Tim, good morning. How are you? Bruce, always a pleasure. Appreciate you joining me. Brian, good morning to you as well. Shelby Avery. That last name is familiar. Avery, Shelby. Oh, that's my daughter, Shelby. Also known as Bean's mom. Also known as Woo. I have nicknames for everybody. Shelby's new son, my new grandson, who is 4 months old 2 days ago. His name is Bodie, but his nickname is Bean. Morning, kiddo. Hope all is well in your world. Scott, good morning. How are you? Mitchell. Philip says, good morning. The snowmobile trails in the UP have snow. Roger, good morning. How are you? My name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday night. No, it's not. It's Behind the Mic. I'm here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. I'll tell you who's coming up on this week's show. I'm recording the first show for the month of February. Can you believe that? This weekend is Groundhog Day. Not the Bill Murray Groundhog Day, but the real Groundhog Day. I don't care what Punxsutawney Phil sees. It's going to be winter for a while. Great ice conditions across the state. Ice fishermen are loving that. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Scott says, good to see you healthy as ever. Yeah, I had a situation last fall just before Halloween, but I'm good now. Good morning, Jim. I never did get out to cast for walleyes after dark last fall because of that situation. Did I get my turkey app in yet? No. That's it. Thank you for it. I'll make that reminder. You have the entire month of by the time folks hear this show. So as you're watching this live stream and tonight's live stream, be aware that if you are applying for one of the limited quota turkey tags, you need to do so now. I don't worry about it because I get ZZ, which is the Southern Michigan private land hunt that runs from the opening weekend, which is like the 19th this year, through the end of April. 50,000 of those are out, so you can always get one of those over the counter. Did I hear that the DNR is removing the dam at Trout Lake in Meredith? I did. I saw that. Craig Plowman, my good friend. Craig, thank you in advance for your help on our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. That's this event right here. Coming up Saturday, March 1st. Tickets now on sale. Craig is responsible for getting an African hunt for us, an African safari for the live auction, and an Illinois whitetail hunt as well. Another good friend who has been very supportive of that event is Ross Elliott. I put his comment up there right now. Good morning, Ross. I hope things are starting to get back to the new normal in your world. Steve, good morning. How are you? Scott says he really wanted to cast for walleyes in the dark as well. He'll be on that this spring. This spring, hopefully, I will be out on the new angler quest, trolling for walleye. Kevin Hannes. Kevin, good morning. Kevin's the superintendent of the West Branch Country Club, where we will be having the second annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing to benefit MUCC's youth camp. That's Friday, July 25th. Too early to sign up for that now, but put it on your calendar. Speaking of calendars, can I just say how disappointed I am in our Michigan DNR? The DNR gets lots of grief. Some of it warranted, some of it not. But in this case, the DNR deserves all the criticism that I can possibly level at them. They did not draw my name for the Pure Michigan Hunt, and I am not happy about it. I was absolutely convinced I was going to win the Pure Michigan Hunt this year, and I didn't. And I'm not happy about it. And I think the DNR is to blame. Right? If you don't know me, I'm joking, right? Well, I'm not really joking. I'm using a joke to make a statement of how mad I am because I was supposed to win it. Tommy, good morning. Bill says, hopefully this year businesses are benefiting from a good winter. Amen to that. Jim says, I'll have you a set of custom painted lures, 400 blanks I'm working on, shallow water trolling, some for casting. Jim, I am all over that because I am a skinny water addict. Even this summertime when I'm out there trolling, if I can troll in 7, 8, 9, 10 feet of water, I'm a happy guy. So thank you for that. Brent, good morning. How are you and Tracy? I've been praying for you guys, both of you. You know that. Hope things are going well. Joel, good morning. David, always a pleasure. Ross says, count us in at Hart Buick GMC in West Branch for another hole-in-one at the event in July. Thank you, Ross. Appreciate that. Ross, will we also see your pretty skinny face at the event in person this year too? Ruben, how are things in Colorado? Sean, fellow angler quest devotee. Brian says, yeah, congrats to those who did win. Yeah. They won. I didn't. Just kidding around. Actually, Brian, one of those winners, Dr. Stephen Dater, who is a dentist out of Rockford. Now, Rockford is like my stomping ground. I grew up in Cedar Springs, hung around Rockford a lot. My mom actually probably lives closer to Rockford than she does Cedar. Anyway, Dr. Stephen Dater is one of the winners of this year's Pure Michigan Hunt, and he's going to be on the radio show this week to talk about it. In just a minute, I'll tell you who the rest of the rundown consists of. Mike, happy hump day. Should I do it? I haven't done it in forever. Mike, it's hump day! I heard that one come bouncing back to me from the end of the hall. I'm going to have so many people not happy with me right now. So thank you, Ricky, and it's all your fault. Gary checking in from the Keys. Ross says, yes, we will have a team there again this year. I don't know anybody, Ross. I don't know anybody who was at that event who won't come back this year because it really was I'm not blowing my own horn here because it was primarily MUCC who did this, but it was a first-class event, especially for a first-year outing to raise $10,000, and next year even better. JT, good morning. Cap JT says he has already committed a trip on Saginaw Bay for walleye for the outing as well. Tim says, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Too late, Tim. James says, I know I want some we can run a little farther back and not pound the bottom. I think we'll keep fish on later. Tim says, I think you broke my eardrum. I think I screwed up a lot of electronics between here and you. Okay. I just realized when I'm in this mode of behind the mic, there's no background, so I apologize. But this event right here, this Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction, is coming up Saturday, March 21st. Tickets are on sale now. Go to one.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor Dinner Auction 2025 or scan that QR code. Some of the events that we have, or some of the items that we have for this event include the aforementioned African hunt, a shoulder mount from Scott Keachman of Linwood Taxidermy, that Illinois hunt, a beautiful Rapid River knife, a couple of wraith blinds, primal wraith blinds, a coyote hunt from Matt Schock, truck trolley courtesy of Andy Weiss, a fishing trip with me, Captain Mike Avery on Saginaw Bay. I say captain as long as I remember to renew my captain's license. A youth hunt courtesy of Schwab Farms, Linwood Beach Launch Pass. That's just what I have on my list here right now. Just getting started. Morning, Jerry. How are you? And again, that is for the event Saturday, March 1st at the Great Hall in Midland. Tickets are on sale now. We always sell out for this event. Always. And I'm sure we will this year. By the way, Art Lewis of WSGW is our guest of honor this year. We did that to honor Art because he has spoken so highly of our event, and he has been at the past 2 or 3 events, and he's had a great time, and he's talked about it on the air. So it just seemed appropriate to honor him in that way and encourage him to talk about the event even more. Deidre Hurley, who is the co-chair of the event, along with Courtney Feinauer and I. Oh, bear hunt from Johnny. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. That was in my mind, but not on my list. Thank you, Ross. Bear hunt from Johnny Bowler. The Bear Whisperer. We are on with Art next Monday at 10:10. Ricky says, Ricky said he's going to hopefully join us at the golf outing this summer. Excellent. My goals for this summer are the same they were last summer. Play more golf, fish more. I'm a pretty simple man. I have simple goals. Play more golf and spend more time on the water. This year, my time on the water will be in a new 2025 Angler Quest Pro Troll 8526, Quest, Quest. Ross, I would rather have you there. You always bring such positive energy to any event you're at, but I know why you can't make it. You are excused. Ross Elliott, you are officially excused. And we will be happy to take your money, even though you're not there. We'll be happy to take your money. We know how to get your money, Ross, because you're a very generous guy, and I appreciate that. Yeah, that 8526 Pro Troll, Brad gave me the option. He said, you want to run a Pro Troll or do you want to run a family fish? I think I'm going to stick with a Pro Troll. If I did run a family fish, I would change out the configuration to have that center stand-up console in the design. I like the stand-up center console. I like being able to run the boat from the center of the boat, especially coming into a dock. I like the fact that the helm is taller and I can stand up too, so I can see good visibility all the way around. But that the family fish is a wonderful, beautiful boat as well. Really kind of the best of both worlds. Okay, thank you, Ross, for reminding me of the bear hunt. Okay, good chance, a good time to tell you who's on the Outdoor Magazine radio show coming up this week. Greg Abbas of A-Way Outdoors is my first guest this week. Greg will talk about bringing your concept, your outdoor-related concept / product to market. He's very, very good at that. Then, like I said before, one of the 3 winners of this year's Pure Michigan Hunt, he's Dr. Stephen Dater. He's a dentist in Rockford. Hour 2 features something I've never talked about before because it's never happened here in Michigan before. The World Ice Fishing Championship. I just got a text from Johnny himself. He says, sorry, I'll have to tune in later. Getting hammered by snow. I will respond to him. No problem, buddy. Hammered with wind and snow. And Johnny works for the road commission up there. He drives a plow truck. Can you imagine what driving a plow truck in the UP is like? You work your butt off. You get a lot of overtime, but you work your butt off. Anyway, we're going to talk about the World Ice Fishing Championship, which is being held near Lakeview, of all places, on Tamarack Lake. Small, fairly unassuming, not very well known Tamarack Lake. Ice fishing anglers are coming in from all across Europe, all across the world. I'm talking, a lot of the former Soviet bloc countries, places where there are ice fishing. I think Sweden's coming in to have a World Ice Fishing Championship on Tamarack Lake here in Michigan. And that's coming up, I think, in 2 weekends. Anyway, Myron Gilbert is the coach of the team and the guy largely responsible for bringing the event to Michigan. Then Lance Valentine joins me to talk about, okay, why did he go from Walleye 101 to Teaching Fishing to Walleye 101 and now the Walleye Zone? Basically, I said, Lance, I got a segment and I need to fill it, and you're great at that. Can you join me? And he said, yep. This week's Ask Avery segment. 2 questions. I'm going to ask. One of them is going to be a reversal. I'm asking you this question right now. On the pond behind the house, we have a couple of muskrats. We've lived here for 10 years now. This is the first year that in the wintertime, the muskrats have come up into the yard, and it looks like they're eating grass. That's what it looks like to me. They're not digging holes, but it looks like they're eating grass. Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats told me the same thing. This is the first time that they have had muskrats leave the pond and come up in the yard to eat the grass. Why are they doing that? And why is this the first time that we've seen them do it? And then the other part is, Avery, why do you not embrace ice fishing? And in our third hour, Rick Hobbs of the Michigan Squirrel Dog Association talks about squirrel hunting with dogs, and we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. Okay, Corey, I've been on the bay last Saturday. I have an invitation, Corey, to go on the bay this Saturday with my son James, and I think he's going out with Mike Smith of Offshore Account Charter Service. I don't know if I'm going or not. I'm not that excited about it. I realize it's a world-class fishery. I realize it's a great opportunity. The main reason I would go would be to spend some time with James, and then also to give myself some topics to talk about on the radio show. So I will probably go, but it's just not something that just reaches up and grabs me by the shoulders anymore. And I'll explain why more in this week's Ask Avery question. Mike checking in from Arizona. How are you? Hello, John. Nice to have you along with us. Tim says we have one living under our barn this winter, not near water. Strange. Yeah, I wonder what it is about this year that is causing the muskrats to leave the ponds and come up in the yards. Aditya, my son-in-law, Aditya, Shelby's husband, Bean's daddy, Bodie's daddy. Good morning, buddy. How are you? Danny, where'd you go, Danny? Nice to have you along with us. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Mike says, I did touch base with Johnny. And did he say, because I said I think it's a good idea to touch base with Johnny ahead of time. Did he also agree, Mike? Did Johnny say, yeah, thank you? Or did he say, why are you calling me now? Corey, Mike Smith lives 1.5 miles next to me. I know. He sets everything up. You just go out and you fish. I know. Oh, we're going to need that, aren't we? Yeah. Good morning, Jim. He agreed. Okay, so we're on the same page here. It's not unusual for me not to be on the ice But this year, the ice is so good and the fishing is so good. And I have an invitation. I should take advantage of it. What else? I'm recording the first show for February now. Can you believe it? Okay. In a minute?
40 seconds.
In 40 seconds, I'm going to switch gears here. Wait until James has the heater on and then go out. Good idea, Craig. Okay, in about 30 seconds, I'm going to switch gears here. I'm going to switch from this microphone, my social media microphone, to this microphone, my official broadcast microphone. I'm also not going to be able to directly interact with you to answer your questions because I'm going to be recording the radio show.
15.
You can stick around and watch me do that. If you don't want to, please join me again tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live,
7,
where we will talk about some wonderful topics relating to the outdoors right here in Blast Off in the great state of Michigan. Jim says maybe tomorrow. Corey says the rats are coming out because there's a new admin. They're not afraid anymore. Dave, you have a great day as well. All right, don't forget, tickets on sale for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. Great event. I've never talked to anybody who was there who didn't absolutely have a wonderful time. Oh, guns, guns, guns. I forgot to mention that. Guns, guns, guns. Till your daddy takes your T-Bird away. And if you know what that means, you are old, old, old. Average cost for a guide, I'm not sure. They do follow-ups for $100. Have a great day, my friends. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across this great state of Michigan. And so glad to have you along with us. John, would you wiggle that connection down there again? Because you're getting no distortion on your end, right? You're good? Okay. Yeah, it's just my connection. Anyway, so glad to have you along with us as you are hearing this show. It's the first weekend in February. How did that happen? How did that get to be? How did we get through January so fast? Was it a good January for you? Did you have fun? Did you get out and do fun things? Did you get out on the ice? Did you get out and enjoy the snow? There's still time, right? There's still time. I don't care what Punxsutawney Phil sees, whether he sees his shadow or not, it's going to be winter for a while. But as a result, man, we've got some great ice across the state. And this is the first time in several years we can say this. Great ice fishing across almost the entire state. You know, I'm not much of an ice fisherman anymore. I get it. I get the appeal of having that rod in your hand, jigging it up and down, having that rod in your hand when a fish hits. I get that. I can relate to that mostly from jigging the river in the fall or in the spring, drifting along with a current, bouncing a jig up and down, usually off the bottom, and having that rod in your hand when a fish hits. Nothing like that. But what I don't like, I'll be honest. Maybe I'm a little bit of a sissy these days, but I don't like to be cold. No real reason to be cold if you don't have to. I realize when you go out ice fishing with these folks these days, you're not cold. You're in a heated shanty and it's warm and you're comfortable. I do have an invitation to go out ice fishing this weekend with my son, James. I suspect he would be going out with Mike Smith of Offshore Account Charters. Mike is a guy that I talk to all of the time in the summertime because he also likes to fish the skinny water and he's out there all the time and he's an excellent angler. So when I get jammed up and maybe can't find as many fish as I would like, I don't hesitate to reach out to Mike. But he's also one of the guys who charters on Saginaw Bay in the wintertime, and he's been getting great catches of great fish. That is truly a world-class fishery. And for the folks to have access to it this winter with good ice is pretty cool. I mean, it is an excellent resource. So I will probably go out there if for no other reason than just to spend some time with my son James on the ice. But also it'll give me, something to talk about here on the radio show. I don't have the passion for it. I admit, it's one of the look at in Michigan, you got to pick your passions. For me, it's bear hunting, it's turkey hunting, and it's summertime walleye fishing. But there is great ice this winter. Speaking of ice, and maybe you can help me out and answer this question. And if you do, please send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. In fact, that's the best way to get in touch with me for anything, mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. We have a pond behind our house. And this year, and we've lived there 10 years now. And this year is the first winter that the muskrats who live in the pond, on the pond, under the ice this time of year, that they've come up in the yard and they appear to be eating grass. They're not digging. I don't think they're doing much damage, but they just look like they're eating grass shoots. It's the first time in 10 years they've done that. Now, I talked to my buddy Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats, and he said the same thing. He's got a pond, and for the first time since they've lived there, the muskrats are coming out of the pond up into the yard to eat the grass, it looks like. Why are they doing that? Why? I mean, I realize if they're eating grass, it's because they're hungry, but why this year? What is there about this year that has caused them to leave their usual habits to come up in the yard and eat grass? If you know the answer to that, if you're a biologist or a botanist or whatever, send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. I'd appreciate it. Speaking of wildlife, I was driving home yesterday. I was right on the edge. I was in town. Look, I don't live in a big city, but I do live in town. And quarter of a mile from my house, I look up and I see an eagle flying overhead. It's not uncommon to see eagles on that pond in the summertime. They'll fish it, they'll hunt it. But I saw an eagle flying overhead, and I was thinking, man, it's pretty common to see eagles now. And then I got thinking about, well, the Saginaw Bay walleye fishery and what a world-class fishery it is. And then all these reports of sturgeon being caught out of the Saginaw River. Sturgeon are native to the watershed, but dirty water pollution kind of drove them out for years and years. Now these days, that sturgeon resource is being replenished. They went up to Black Lake, took some of the fingerlings from the folks there, brought them down, raised them, and have released them in the watershed down here where I live. And now it's not uncommon at all for people to catch sturgeon out of the Saginaw River. Now, you can't target them, you can't keep them, but the fact that they're catching them is pretty cool. And it got me thinking, man gets so much negative attention, so much criticism, man, us people, for all the nasty things we've done to Mother Nature over the years and all the damage we've done to wildlife over the years. And I can't deny that. Man has done a lot of damage. Now, much of that was from decades ago. I'm talking about like industrial pollution. Folks really didn't have a handle on what this was going to do. And it was accepted and it was legal and it was nothing out of the ordinary and it was nothing underhanded. It was just part of accepted business practices. But as a result, you had waters, you had watersheds, you had rivers, you had Saginaw Bay that got polluted. And the area around it got polluted. But now, since those practices have stopped, Mother Nature has done a wonderful job in cleaning up. And then man has jumped in to do good things. Again, for example, restocking walleye in Saginaw Bay. Now, these days, Mother Nature takes care of it all. But it was man, it was the DNR, it was sportsmen's groups around Saginaw Bay who stocked those fish in there in the first place years ago. The eagles are back because DDT and other pesticides have pretty much worked their way out of the system. Now, there are other concerns out there, I know. DDT years ago caused eagles to be born with crossed bills so they couldn't feed. But now these days, you look around, there's eagles everywhere. I was 35 years old before I saw my first eagle, and it was a huge treat. And for me, every eagle I see today is still a huge treat. So a thriving world-class walleye situation, resource, fishery. Eagles all over the place. Sturgeon being caught out of the Saginaw River. Coming up here shortly, turkey season. Again, that's a critter. Turkeys were native. They were wiped out. Now they were brought back by man. Man has done a lot of good. Did we do damage years ago? Over the years, of course. But for those folks who say that man is nothing but a negative impact and a negative factor in this world, I think you're wrong. Don't forget our big Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction coming up Saturday, March 1st. Tickets are now on sale. This is a big event. We always sell out. It's a big event because so many people are so very generous. This year, an African safari to give away, a bear hunt from Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer, a shoulder mount from Scott Keatsman at Linwood Taxidermy, an Illinois whitetail hunt, a beautiful Rapid River knife, a couple of wraith blinds from Primal Outdoors, a coyote hunt from Matt Schock, a truck trolley from Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley, a youth hunt from Schwab Farms, a day of walleye fishing with me on Saginaw Bay, a Linwood Beach Marina launch pass. And those are just the things that I have on my list right here in front of me. We will sell out. That event is Saturday, March 1st. Tickets on sale now. Go to one.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor Dinner Auction 2025. Or on my Facebook page, I have a post there with the flyer. In fact, I'm going to pin that to the top of the page to make it easy for you to find. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine show after the break, Greg Abbas of A Way Outdoors talks about bringing your outdoor invention to the marketplace. Then, one of the folks who won the Pure Michigan hunt, and I am really mad about this, the DNR made a huge mistake and they did not draw my name, and I'm not happy about it, but they did draw Dr. Stephen Dater's name. I'm going to talk to him about that. He's one of 3 winners, by the way. Then Myron Gilbert in hour number 2 talking about the World Ice Fishing Championships here in Michigan. Lance Valentine of Walleye 101 and this week's Ask Avery segment. Then in hour number 3, Rick Hobbs from the Michigan Squirrel Dog Association talks about squirrel hunting with dogs, obviously. And we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website is mikeaveryoutdoors.com. My email address is mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. That's mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. I would love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out from me. Lots coming up this week right here on Outdoor Magazine. Okay, my friends. Morning, Nat. Dan. Tim. Corey says make sure they're insured. Mickey, Joe, Jerry. All right, my friends, have a great day. We'll see you tonight again, 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Have a great day.